everyone, it's Gojira Prime here with a little video, and we are now a week after TFN 2026. There's been quite a few videos, pictures, posts, reels, and God only knows what else shared about it. But I wanted to go over a little bit of information that was given to us at the end of the Constructicon, which was the panel at the very end of the day where we, the attendees, get to give feedback to the organizers of the event. Now, first off, as always, I had a really good time at TFN. Spent some money on myself, my daughter, got lots of toys, some things signed. My daughter loved doing the cosplay again this year. So all in all, a fantastic weekend had by all. And at the very end, Billy Stripes, the gentleman who predominantly runs DF Nation, advised that, well, two key pieces of information. One, the theme for 2027's main event is going to be Transformers, the live action movie, because, and I completely forgot about this, it is actually 20 years next year when that film came out. So thanks, Billy, for reminding me just how old I'm getting, for starters. But yeah, it's 20 years next year when Transformers, the live action movie, hit the big screens. And it's going to be 21. It's 20 years this year since I started collecting Transformers again. So it's great that the live action films are going to be getting some love next year. No idea who they're going to get guest-wise for the live-action movies. I'll certainly be intrigued to see who they do get. But yeah, that was the first bit of information we got. Well, actually, it was the second bit of information, but I'm going to come to the first that we got, is that next year's theme is going to be the live-action series. So I'm going to have to sit down at some point and watch films 1 to 3 with my daughter. 4 and 5 I'll happily skip, and we'll probably rewatch Bumblebee and Rise of the Beasts as well, because she has seen those two films already. But the big piece of news which we were given is that TFN 2027 is going to be the biggest convention that they've ever organized. Now, usually the convention takes place in 2 rooms. One room is the panel room, where all the main panels and the night's entertainment on a Saturday is held. And then you have the other room, which is the dealer room, where they have all the sellers, the traders, and all the Forge users. The Forge users being the independent people who make Transformers-themed artwork, merchandise, and then sell it. We are now getting a 3rd room next year. So Billy, quite excitedly actually, said that they have now filled the hotel. That basically the convention has gotten so large, they are booking out the entire hotel. So all the rooms are getting filled. That they're allocated for attendees to stay at, and they're also now taking over a 3rd function room in order to accommodate the convention. So this opens up a new world of possibilities for them. My personal thought is I think they'll probably split things in 3. So you'll still have one room as the main panel room and evening entertainment room. You'll have one room for the traders and possibly the guests in, and then the 3rd room will be for the Forge traders as well. So that's how I think it will go off the top of my head, because I think they have done something similar to that in the past, if I remember correctly, from many years ago, where they had the Forge users in their own separate room, and then they had the traders and the guests and the panel in another room, the larger room. But this is when the convention was a lot smaller than what it is today. Obviously, this does raise a question from an attendee point of view, is with the increased size of the convention, are we going to see price increases on the tickets? Now, TF Nation has held their prices for quite a few years. They've not risen dramatically. There has been a slight price increase, but a very small one, if I'm brutally honest. But yeah, obviously, it's exciting that the convention's expanding, it's growing. I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic about it because um, you don't want something to grow so big that it becomes an absolute monster to navigate and there's too many people in the rooms and so forth, and you feel like you're hemmed in. But it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. There's pros and cons to everything at the end of the day. So I'm cautiously optimistic about them expanding the size of the convention. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I do have to ask myself, does this mean we're going to see price increases? And it probably means that we will. One thing, obviously, they weren't able to confirm as well this year is when the convention is going to be held. Usually, they announce next year's convention at the close of that convention. So, in 2025, we knew the dates for 2026 because they pre-booked it because they knew how big they were going to be, and it gives them more flexibility because it was a smaller event. Now it's a bigger event; it limits their flexibility in regard to booking. So we don't yet know when the convention is going to be. I imagine it's probably still going to be sometime in the summer holidays. Instead of being at the beginning of August, we're probably looking mid to end August now instead, which is going to be okay for some, not okay for others potentially, depending on your situation. But we're going to have to wait and find out, and we're probably not going to find out until the new year. But yeah, that was the big news coming out of TFN really at the end of the convention. Transformers live action film's the theme. No information, obviously, on guests. We'll get that in the new year. No date yet for the convention because they're expanding the convention, so they've got to rearrange the dates. Again, we'll probably find out in the new year. And no dates yet for the Manchester Minicon, but I imagine that they will announce that probably in the new year as well. So that's it, really. So let me know in the comments section, have you been to TFN before? Are you excited about the convention expanding? Or like me, are you cautiously optimistic or just concerned? And what do you think about Transformers live action being the theme for 2027? Let me know in the comments section. Please hit like, hit subscribe, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video.